And can explain more. Hi, Emma.
Why they needed it all, you might ask.
Yeah.
Let me just tell you what's going on with people here. Good morning. Lots of people living in flats and apartments have to pay fees known as service charges or communal charges. You might have heard of those before. But now a growing number of people in newly built houses are having to pay something similar. And it's for the upkeep of shared areas like repairing roads or cutting grass. But it's led to a lot of problems with, well, quite unfair charges, poor transparency and pretty limited rights for homeowners who are having to pay these fees. Now, as we heard there, the charges are paid on top of council tax, and it's because the local authority hasn't agreed to adopt and take responsibility for some newly created roads. And these charges are becoming a lot more common. A report from the Competition and Markets Authority found around 40% of all new estates built in England, Scotland and Wales within the last 5 years, they have these charges. Now, the frustrating part for homeowners is that the charge can just go up with no warning, and residents of one estate in Bradford have seen their bills more than double over the last 5 years. Now, the management company of that estate told the BBC that they are trying to keep costs competitive and affordable and make sure that residents knew what they were paying for. The local government association says some new housing estates are becoming more expensive to maintain. And because budgets are already tight, councils can't afford to take them on. Now, home builders have been required to include more complex, nature-friendly areas in new estates like wildflower meadows or ponds, for example. The Home Builders Federation, we've heard from them too. Well, they say it's their job to build, not to think about maintaining, and so something needs to change to reduce these charges. Well, the government is trying to do something about this. They're running 2 consultations to give homeowners with communal charges more protection and to try and reduce the reliance on these kind of private estate management and to get more taken on by local councils. Now, the government did tell us that homeowners living on these estates deserve a fair deal, that they're acting to try to ensure their money is well spent. Sally and John, very frustrating for some people getting new houses.
And I wonder, is it because there's more and more landscaping around those developments, there's more and more costs?
Exactly, and that's what home builders are saying. They want to make these places nice, work with nature, but it makes them more difficult to maintain.
Emma, we have a question for you. How did you sleep last night?
Sally, I would love to tell you I had 9 hours uninterrupted, but I would be lying.
Yeah, that's OK. You don't have to lie.
Yeah, I mean, look, pregnancy affects your sleep. Having a 2-year-old can affect your sleep. Put the 2 things together, and some nights are a bit worse than others. Let's say that.
Yeah, it's tough. Thank you. We're talking about the importance.
And can explain a little more for us. Morning, Emma.
Good morning. Yes, all that Christmas stock, well, it just wasn't flying off the shelves quite as quick as many shops would have liked. Christmas didn't bring the boost in sales many retailers were hoping for. It's according to new figures from the British Retail Consortium. Retail sales across the UK did increase in December compared to last year, but at a much slower rate than expected. They only rose by 1.2%, almost a third of the rate seen the previous year. And December was the 4th consecutive month of slowing growth. Now, consumers were spending more money than last year, but just not at the usual pre-Christmas levels. What we did see after Christmas, a spike in purchases after Boxing Day and all those January sales, which shows that some customers, well, they were holding out for discounts after Christmas instead of buying the full price items for gifts on the big day. Why does all this matter? Well, overall, it's because the figures, they aren't too promising, are they, for the government's plan to grow the economy. John and Sally.
Emma, thank you.